Hello everyone! Today's video is going to be the look that you see me wearing right now. It is my bold glam Christmas look this year. I decided to take a nice spin on the classic smoky eye, and I've put a green lower lash line and a red lip. Normally I would not put green and red together, but you know, for Christmas it's acceptable. And it's all drugstore products except for my brows, so if you're interested, just keep watching. I'm using my Popfeel eyeshadow palette and that sandy tawny shade and that one at the top there, mixing those together, and I am using that as my transition shade. It's funny that I'm using all drugstore products because I'm actually using all my high-end brushes on my eyes today, which I didn't realise till I was editing the video, but oh well. So putting that just as my transition shade. I've already got my eyes primed with my e.l.f. eyeshadow primer, I just didn't show that in the video. I'm blending it slowly. This is the brush that came with the Anastasia Prism palette if you are interested at all. I like them, they work just fine, I've never had an issue with them. Going back into the matte palette, I'm using the slightly lighter warm orange colour, and I'm putting that again in my crease, making my crease not too warm, but definitely warm toned. I had filmed this earlier, but I'd made it cool toned and the look just looked really weird. So it looks a bit better with the warm tones on the upper lash line, upper lid. And then I'm just using the neutral brown that I am pointing to with my smaller brush on the Anastasia self-made brush, and just applying that with the smaller end and blending it out later on with one of my slightly fluffier brushes. But I'm going right through my crease, but I'm concentrating it on my outer corner because that's where I want the most pigment. And then I'm just taking that fluffy brush that you see and blending it out. I am applying a bit more of the warmer tone colour because I want the warm tone to really poke through. Blending, 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 that is the key to everything. Then on my lid I'm using the Maybelline Colour Tattoo in Too Cool, that is the white one, and obviously just applying it to my lid with my finger, as you can see. Nothing too fancy here, just literally putting it on, avoiding my crease because I always manage to mess it up and get glittery shadow in my crease. Now if you have slightly drier eyes than I do, or eyelids, then you probably won't need to put a colour over the top, but I do. So I'm using the shimmery Popfeel palette and using the white shade. I did spray it with some NYX setting spray to make it slightly more intense, but my eyes are way too oily for me to just use the Maybelline Tattoo on its own. I'm using my designer brand's Absolute Liquid Eyeliner and obviously doing a wing on my eyes. I never just do a thin line, I think that looks really weird. I love doing a wing, it's one of my favourite things, and this is my all-time favourite eyeliner. They now sell it in brown, so in a couple of weeks I'm going to repurchase a black one, and I'm going to buy a brown one as well because sometimes the black one's really good and the brown one's pretty crap, but I'm going to see if it works. For my face, I'm using the Loreal Infallible Mattifying Primer. I hate this thing, which is why I'm using it. I smeared it on with my fingers and blended it in, and then I grabbed my beauty blender and I didn't pounce it on my face, I dragged it, rubbed it on my face so it could soak up a lot of the primer. I'm only using the primer for the sake of the video because I hate it. And then I'm using my Magic Flower foundation? I don't know, it's one I bought from Wish. I thought I had enough of a tan for it to match me. Clearly I did not. I overestimated it, but I love this foundation. It is so nice. It's got really nice coverage, as you can see, which for this look you need full coverage, and it blends in really well, and it's just got the most skin-like appearance. I used my Model Co concealer on my face because this is supposed to be full coverage, and the only time I've ever tried this concealer was the day I broke my foot, which was nearly 3 months ago, and haven't tried it since. It was too dark for me to use under my eyes, but I used it on my face and again wasn't very impressed. I'm using my Focallure concealer because it's really the only one I've been using at the moment because it's the only one that has enough coverage for me. And also it was pale enough, and I was hoping that blending it out I would make my face look slightly paler. And I'm almost baking my face today. I wanted to see if it would make my foundation last longer. I did not get to keep my foundation on for as long as I wanted to test this out, but I will one day. I am using my Ben Nye powder because the only translucent powder I have is my Laura Mercier one, and I don't really like it because no matter what I do, it takes away the coverage of my foundation. So I'm just brushing the extra product away, and then I just set the rest of my face with another powder. This is like a dry-skinned girl's nightmare. Like, if Kathleen Lights was watching this, she'd probably go into a full-on panic attack because, you know, this would probably cause her so much anxiety. I'm using my Maycheer Bronzer. I really like this. The only thing is you can't apply a lot, because if you apply a lot, it then actually turns really cool-toned and doesn't look bronzed. It looks like a contour shade and like I've been punched in the face. I was trying to use as minimal brushes, so I am using the same e.l.f. brush I was using for my powder, and the brush I used under my eyes, I'm using it to apply my Rimmel Pink Rose blush that I have been wearing all the time, because I was going to wash those brushes, you know, an hour after I filmed this, and I can't be bothered. It's 3 days later and I'm still using them. I'm using the highlighter that's in my little Chichi palette. I used to use this highlighter all the time and I absolutely love it. It's beautiful. It's got such a nice sheen to it. Doesn't emphasize texture. And I'm using my Aldi contour brush. I'm also putting it under my brow bone with the Anastasia brush, and also on my inner corner. I'm then using my light green eyeliner on my lower lash line. I was originally just going to use the eyeliner, but once I got my pencil brush and blended it out, I realised it wasn't, you know, bright enough. So I'm just using my slightly bigger pencil brush to blend it out and smudge it into my skin so it's not just sticking there. And it's not as bright as I wanted it to be, so I grabbed that Chichi palette again and used the lighter green shade just to put it over the top, also to set the eyeliner because, you know, I'm so oily and my eyes water all the time. So I set that and it went bright enough. On camera it wasn't really, you know, as bright as it looks like in real life, but it was. And I'm just using some Maybelline Mega Plush mascara. I think it's nearly empty because I struggled a lot to get my lashes looking really nice. And then I applied my darker green eyeliner on my waterline. I was going to apply my red eyeliner and I completely forgot and grabbed the green one instead. I had the dark green there in case I wanted to use that on my lower lash line, but I forgot. And then I'm just using another mascara on my upper lashes because, like I said, I think the Maybelline one's empty. And on my lower lashes I'm using my Designer Brands waterproof one. All of my mascaras are pretty much drugstore. I'll tell you if I ever use a high-end one. For my lips, I'm using my Bow Beauty lip liner in Ruby Slipper. It's a really bright red and it's not super pigmented, which is what I wanted because I wanted red lips, but I didn't want my lips to be too bright to overpower my face. So I used that, and I've got this little set of lip glosses. So this is the Savvy by Designer Brands lip gloss. I'll put the actual colour down below, but it's the red one, and it's really nice. It was the first time I used this colour. And there we go, guys, that is the look completed. I used my Anastasia dip brow on my eyebrows, but other than that, everything else was drugstore, so I hope you really enjoyed it. Please subscribe, check out my description box and my social media, and I hope you all have a fantastic Christmas. So, bye!